what we hear. But the one thing to keep in mind is that we have to have an understanding of where we're at economically and what forms of government manage and regulate what we're doing and how we're doing it. And we've seen a lot happen. Those of us that live in the U.S., we've seen a lot of regulation come down the pipeline the last few years in the Forex market that have really hindered how and where and what we can do as traders. Thank goodness we haven't been regulated out of being able to even participate in the market, but we've seen some pretty steep changes in what we're allowed to do and not do. And so as we talk about the Forex market in the next few segments as well, in part with the other topics, the other investing tools and vehicles that we can participate with, keep in mind what type of government you're having to pay taxes to and you pay tribute to, so you can understand how and where to move with your respective plans and goals and what you're allowed to do, because there are certain things that we'll talk about that may not be something you can participate in legally where you live, but there's other things that you can do. And so we're going to try to cover a lot of different areas and cover a lot of ground to make sure that we're helping facilitate an understanding of what you can do to build a game plan for yourself. Okay, so in the next segment, this went a little bit faster than I thought it would. I thought we'd go to about 30 minutes, but we'll take some time and talk about this, open up for discussion. But in the next session, we're going to talk about fractional reserve banking and how that creates the fiat system that fights against the gold standard, and how that plays a role in us as traders, as well as what we can do to hedge against it, to protect ourselves. Are there any questions to this point? I know I went pretty fast. We can go back and revisit some topics if you need me to. Okay, the question comes in, what is the definition of a fiat currency and its ramifications? Okay, a fiat currency is a currency that is no longer backed by gold. And if your government is printing money like crazy, it's because they're creating a false sense of security with that fiat. And the ramifications are, if there's ever a run on the banks and people want their value, there's no value there. And so we'll actually talk about fractional reserve here for a little bit. When a bank does fractional reserve banking, what they're doing is they're saying, okay, we have, for example, $1,000 worth of asset. Okay, we whether it's gold or real estate or some other type of resource that they hold reserve on, or a note on that proves ownership. What they'll do is they will lend out against that $1,000 worth of value, whatever that asset is, that commodity. Let's just say gold, for example. Let's say they have $1,000 worth of gold, but they'll fractionally lend that out in small increments to up to 10 times more notes than what they have in value. And so now that if any one of those borrowers want to go get their money back, or pay their, any of those, they're the lender, and the borrower wants to cash in on their loan that they've went against, or they've paid off. The bank's making money. I'm not doing a very good example here. I'm trying to figure out how to word this. Tongue-tie, that rooster's bugging me. Apologize about my farm life here. What they're doing is they're lending out more, and we'll go into more detail again on the next session, than what they have actually in asset. Okay, so if people are saving money and they pay back their loans and they've got value in the bank equivalent to the loan and some profit, the bank actually is lending out on any additional value you put in. So they're just continually lending out against monies or assets that come in that are backed by far less value than what they're actually lending against, or lending out, excuse me. And so that's where the fiat becomes very frightening, because it really creates a false sense of security and a false sense of value. And economies that are built on that, here's the one key you need to keep in mind. When a bubble pops, it doesn't reinflate. If you ever tried to blow up a balloon after it pops, you realize real quick that it's not possible to even blow it back up. And that's the problem with what we're seeing with the various forms of bubbles in our economies, and the fact that every country is borrowing and lending against each other with this fiat principle in mind, that it's created a network of bubbles that once one pops, they all are strained and they all deflate. And so that's where the ramification becomes pretty critical for us. I'm going to copy this. Clark just put together a really good type out here of a fiat currency.
But I can do that if you want to handle Rupert's question.
Yeah, if you can go ahead and do that.
I'll do that.
Thank you. Well, the free market is considered, again, we're talking about the four different economies, where we're talking about fascism, Nazism, socialism, and communism. In the U.S., our economy is more of a fascism economy. Let me go back to that slide so we can look at how that plays a role in what we're talking about here. Okay, if we're coming from the U.S. here, are we in the U.S. here in this particular question? Okay, yeah, all right. Okay, the government does not have title to the businesses. Okay, I own my business according to the certificate and license on my wall. But the government regulates that business by how, where, what, and when to produce what I produce. So as a trader, being a forex trader, I'm regulated. I'm told that I can't trade more than 50 to 1 ratio, and I can't trade or open up a foreign account and trade from that foreign account. So I'm regulated as a foreign exchange investor. Okay, so you can see that in the U.S. Across the board. So we are a fascism economy in the U.S. I appreciate Clark's input here. Clark, you never cease to amaze me how you're able to pull up information like you do. Great asset to the group.
Jed?
Yes, sir.
Quick one for you. I don't know how to copy this to an answer.
All right, let me do it real quick. I do it all the time,
Okay.
so it's like in second nature.
Yeah, exactly. How do you do it?
Okay, what you do is you select on Clark's message, and then you oops. Sometimes it doesn't want to grab it, so you have to be real ginger with it. You grab it down in the area below, just above where you type, because his comment will pop up down below. You copy it, grab it, select it, copy, paste it, and then put it into the type area, and then send to all. Did that make sense? I went pretty fast.
Yeah, I've only got the first line of what you put in there, though.
Okay, I just copied it to everybody.
Okay, cool.
And Clark's got some more information here on free market, so I'm going to send this out too. The problem with what we're dealing with in what we're told is a free market is that we are regulated. Whether it's fascism, Nazism, socialism, or communism, we're regulated. And so to be a true free market system under a fiat controlled economy, which is where we're at, it makes it very, well, it's just a facade. It's not real. And so if you understand that, these next sections that we're going to talk about in the next sessions, we're going to go into detail as to what you can do to help hedge against that and protect yourself against those checks and balances that are always being imposed upon us through these government-controlled economies. Did you guys get the definition on free market that I copy-pasted, or did I not copy-paste that yet?
Yes.
Okay, it came through already?
That came through.
Thanks, Clark, again.
Yeah, so you've got the definition of fiat currency, definition of free market.
And then here's some more information
on the free
on
market.
the free market as well. There's 2 pastes coming from the free market information. Thank you, Clark. Clark, now, where did you pull this information from? Is this something off out of Aftershock, your own knowledge, or from a specific site or sites?
Well, it's from all three. The specific site I use for a lot of definitions is Investopedia.com.
Yeah, it's where I did some of my research too. So it's a great place to go to learn this stuff. So if you want to, don't take my word for it. Go research it out as well.
Some of it came, not this particular paste, but a lot of what I know about it comes from a college in Michigan called Hillsdale College.
Oh yeah, we talked about that when we were doing the stealth group, weren't we?
Yeah, they had a recent series of seminars on Business 101, and it dealt with everything from interest rates to free markets to you name it, it went into it. They also had a series on the Constitution, which was really great. So I like the stuff that Hillsdale gives for free. It's a college that you pay to go to as a student, and it is one of the most conservative, true to the Constitution and true to law, higher education institutions in the world.
Excellent. Now, what's their website? I remember you gave that to me, and I don't have reference on it anymore. Since I moved my office from where I used to have it to where it is now, I've got a lot of stuff in boxes and files that I'm still going through to try to clean up. I know I've got it filed somewhere, but I just can't remember where it is.
Let me send that to you.
Because back when we were doing the research with the stealth group, I did go there quite a bit, and I found it very helpful. So I'll copy paste this to everybody as well. Great information here. All right. So in these discussions, there's an opportunity. I might have an opportunity to bring in 2 different experts. And it may not happen in sequences to the way I've presented these next several sections that we'll be discussing, but I'm going to talk to 2 individuals and see if either of them can come present on the gold standard and interest rates and how that affects us and how we can hedge against the interest rates in our investments. So I'm going to work on trying to get that as an additional series, and I also have an opportunity to have an individual provide us the information for a 10-part series on gold and what we can do and how we can purchase gold at any quantity, not just in ounces, but in pretty affordable ways. And I'm going to see if I can't get this individual to come present to us. He's got a 10-part series that he does, which I think is an amazing opportunity to help individuals understand how they can diversify their wealth through that standard and actually build a gold standard with which you're working from. I'm pretty excited about talking about that when we get to the gold portion of the series next week. But I wanted to let everybody know that anything that we talk about here is open for discussion and debate. I don't want you to think that I am the sole expert on this. I appreciate Clark's input and the questions that have come in. I'm a trader just like you, and I want to make it an environment where you can feel safe discussing an idea and opening up a concept that helps us to explore more what our surroundings economically are and how they play a role in our success. And we can move forward as a group. Michael, you and I have talked numerous times about how we want to be able to create these environments and this community of traders that think like-mindedly and work together. And we've seen that dream come true on multiple levels, and even in areas I felt were near impossible, they've actually been very, very feasible, thanks to the participation of others. So we invite you to be involved. We invite you to ask questions. We invite you to do research. Clark naturally likes to do that. He likes to read. You read quite a bit of do quite a bit of reading every day on various topics, correct?